What's the sense in the penny? It's the debate resurfacing yet again in D.C. President Trump posting on Truth Social saying he's directing the Treasury to stop minting new pennies because they cost more than a cent to make. So is the move penny wise or pound foolish? People have been trying to get rid of the copper coins, now mostly made of zinc by the way, for decades. That's because it costs a pretty penny to make a penny. Trump isn't the first president to consider axing the coin. President Obama floated scrapping the penny 12 years ago.
Anytime we're spending more money on something that people don't actually use, that's an example of something we should probably change.
But the administration wasn't able to execute on the cuts.
You just get all these objections. What happens to Lincoln's face that is on this? What about the states we're buying the copper from? How do they update the cash registers? And I confess, and I'm not proud of it, that eventually I just got worn down.
Nowadays, the U.S. Mint says making each penny costs more than 3.5 cents, and that when you add them all up, it equals a more than $85 million loss for the federal government in 2024. Other countries have already rid themselves of their pennies. Canada discontinued theirs more than a decade ago. Australia and New Zealand nixed theirs back in the 90s. Some are passionate about their pennies. The pro-penny group Americans for Common Sense, yes, with a C, is run by Mark Weller, a lobbyist for the zinc industry. Its website cites reasons for seeing the other side of the coin, pointing out the penny's usefulness in charity donations and concerns that losing the 1-cent coin would cause merchants to round up to the nearest nickel, raising prices on consumers who pay with cash.
The trend in other countries suggested to us that it would be a good idea to get rid of the penny, that it just was not at all necessary. Lots of countries do without them and do just fine.
If the Trump administration is able to stop the minting of new pennies, it wouldn't be without precedent in the U.S. Back in 1857, Congress discontinued the half-cent coin. Some of those coins can now fetch up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars from collectors, meaning that even in a post-penny world, a penny saved could end up being more than a penny earned.
Brian Cheung is joining us now. Okay, first of all, fascinating. Second of all, practically, let's say the penny goes away. Let's say I go to the store, the corner store, and something costs $3.47. And if there's no pennies, right, or the store doesn't, like, do they round up to a nickel? Is that what other countries have done? Is that kind of the practical impact of this?
Yeah, well, I mean, you would still end up with change, to be clear. You just wouldn't have a few extra cents because you wouldn't have a 1 cent. The lowest denomination would then be 5 cents. Right. But in Canada, it is the case that, yes, we've seen, some companies maybe just round up to the next nearest nickel. Although I want to point out, Hallie, interestingly, the nickel also costs a lot to make. 1 nickel costs 13.8 cents to make. So maybe that's the next target after
It's the nickel next.
There you go.
Brian
the
Cheung.
Nickel next.
All right. Well, so we'll see that on the breakdown, I'm sure, in a few weeks from now. Brian Cheung, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.